So, as I go more into the shades of joy, I'm going to be talking about the 5 crucial areas of our health. There's 5 crucial areas of our health. There's our mental health, our physical health, believe it or not, our financial health, our social health, and aspirational health. Aspirational health is our aspirations and our purpose. So, as I go through those 5 crucial areas of health, there's obviously different areas within that. Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and joy while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. Enjoy, and today I bring to you episode 50. Woohoo! 50 Shades of Joy. Yes. Journey to Joy Live, a mental health podcast, has made it to 50 episodes, which means I am 2 weeks away from making it to a year. Awesome. All in the name of mental health and breaking down the stigma. So, what is 50 Shades of Joy? Well, I'm here to talk about the multi meaning of joy. What is joy? What's the 50 Shades of Joy? How we can access joy in many, many ways. First, I need to talk about me. The first shade of joy is me, yours truly. My name is Nina Joy. I am Joy. And you know what? Who named me Joy? My late father, rest his soul. He would always brag about that it was him that named me Joy and that I'm his joy and I will always be his joy and that I'm always smiling. And he was so happy that I brought joy to the world. He would always talk about that. So, you know what? After he passed, I said, well, I got to continue to do something about joy and use it as my brand. And I wouldn't be Dr. Enjoy if it wasn't from my mom who named me Nina. Of course, Nina came from a character from a soap opera. So it was either Erica or Nina from All My Children. Thank you. I like Nina better. So anyway, that's how I became Dr. Enjoy. And of course, my private practice and business that I found and owned started last year is Enjoy Life, living in full empowerment. So there goes my brand. That's the first shade of joy is me. Because if it wasn't for me being joy, then maybe I wouldn't have started Journey to Joy Life. Maybe there would be no Enjoy Life Living in Full Empowerment LLC small business. So as I go more into the shades of joy, I'm going to be talking about the 5 crucial areas of our health. There's 5 crucial areas of our health. There's our mental health, our physical health, believe it or not, our financial health, our social health, and aspirational health. Aspirational health is our aspirations and our purpose. So as I go through those 5 crucial areas of health, there's obviously different areas within that lead to joy that we need to work on to find our joy, that we need to process or get therapy or treat or whatever it is so that we can be able to find joy. So that was mental health, physical health, financial health, social health, and aspirational health. Within mental health, there is so many different layers of joy, so many different layers of how we can find joy. And really the first shade of joy after me, because I said number 1 was me, Dr. Enjoy, is self-love. Self-love. How can you find mental health and find health in all those other crucial areas of your health and of your life if you don't have self-love? Self-love is very important. Of course, I did a podcast on self-love back in February. I think it was episode 31. So go back and listen to it. It was honestly my most watched episode where I was by myself. My most watched episode altogether was the one where my husband was a guest back in September. He talked about recovery. But anyhow, self-love, it was called not self-love, but love yourself. Love yourself. So that is very important. If you don't love yourself, then how is it going to be easy for others to love you? If you love yourself, then that just radiates and shows people the confidence that you have. And it brings people to you. It brings respect. It brings worth. So there is that choice of entering into loving yourself. And with that said, there's the choice of entering into joy. And that's the third shade of joy is choosing joy. I talked about in one of the episodes back in October, is joy a choice or is it an emotion? And we decided that it's both, right? It's obviously an emotion, but it's also that choice to say, I'm going to go into joy. I'm going to choose joy. I'm going to go into that journey, and whatever it takes, I am going to get there. You can choose that. Maybe you don't get it overnight, but you will get it eventually as long as you're working towards that self. So that journey to joy is really making the decision to work on yourself, making the decision to get beyond the past and get beyond the things that have been holding you back. Because if you don't make that choice, how can you do that? So making that choice to love yourself. And the fourth shade of joy is self-compassion. Self-compassion and self-love go together, right? You have to be compassionate about yourself. You have to give grace to yourself if there's failures. We've all had failures. You don't just succeed and that's it. In fact, I mean, if everything went perfectly and you just succeeded in everything, it would just be success would just feel boring. There was like a quote I literally heard like a few weeks ago about that. Like, if you don't ever fail, then success literally is not a challenge anymore. So you need a challenge and you need failure in order to continue striving and continue with that motivation towards success and towards joy. So self-compassion and self-love and also self-care is the fifth type of shade of joy that I want to talk about, because self-care is super important for you to put first and prioritize yourself and do those things for you that you need so that you can be rejuvenated to be able to help others. Along with the self-care, the me, the focus of self-compassion and self-love is the body image joy. Body positivity. I have a podcast episode on that. So that is number 6 shade of joy is our body positivity, loving yourself in and out, physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that from the inside out, from the outside in. And knowing that your body is a vessel for you to do those things that you want to do. If as long as your body's doing those things, hey, give it some grace. And if it's some things that you can change that you want to work on, change it and work on it. Exercise so you can lose weight, do some strength training so you can gain muscle, diet, and do all those things that you can change. If there's something about your body that you don't like and you can't change it, get to the point of accepting it, self-acceptance, because that's very important. So that's shade number 6. Yeah, I'm going through 50 Shades of Joy. That's why it's called 50 Shades of Joy. How am I going to call this 50 Shades of Joy if I don't go through 56 Shades of Joy? So that was number 6. So number 7 is getting into our mental joy, right? And so within our mental joy and our mental health, it's a lot of things. It's our mental health, our spiritual health, gratitude, our emotional health, our thought health. And honestly, since mental is a little bit different from emotions and a little bit different from the thoughts and the spirit, I like to cloud that under integrity. If you think of your integrity and who you are, that makes up your integrity, your mental health, your spiritual health, your mind, your emotional health, and your thought health, what you think. All of that is your integrity and who you are. Shades 7, 8, 9, and 10, if we think about our mental health, spiritual health, and our gratitude and our thought health and our emotional health, we are already to shade 10. And those are things that we need to focus on, right? So getting to our mental health, making sure you're understanding your thoughts and what you're thinking. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. And you are not your thoughts. You can shut down a thought when you have it. A lot of times when we go through stress, that first thought is a negative thought. So we have to counter that thought, change it Come up with something positive in place of it. Even if you don't believe that thought, keep thinking positive thoughts. Write it down. Keep talking to yourself. It's okay to do that positive self-talk to help with your thoughts. A lot of our emotions or our mental health start with thoughts. I was just telling somebody today, when you have negative thoughts, it can be a result of depression. And depression is a disease of our thoughts. So we have to treat that disease of our thoughts with positive thoughts. Yeah, sometimes people need medication and therapy and other things, but a part of our treatment is how we talk to ourselves and reframing our mind and how we think. And then there's our emotions, being able to regulate our emotions, emotional intelligence. That involves learning how to regulate our emotions, being mindful, being able to understand the other person's side, right? If we're going to stop ourselves from cussing somebody out or stop ourselves from fighting or doing what our first instinct tells us to do, then we have to think about what is the other person's perspective. Let's try to understand them so we won't jump to conclusions and just act on how we feel. So it's really important to think about your emotional health and try to regulate it. You're not the only one. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to get nervous. It's okay to get sad, but it's what we do with those emotions that's not okay. It's okay to not be okay, but get the treatment for it that's needed. So that's emotional health and our thought health that's within our integrity. Gratitude. Gratitude is part of that, our grateful joy. And it is important. That's a health. That's a health. If you're able to be grateful, even when there's a lot of things that you find that aren't things that you're grateful of, there's usually something out there that's positive, something to be grateful for. Even if it's, I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. At the very least, I'm grateful that I pay my rent. I'm grateful that even though I hate my job and my boss hates me, that's an example. I don't feel that way. Even if you do feel that way, I'm grateful that I do have a job. I might be living check by check, but I'm getting a check. That's gratefulness. It's this might be happening, but I still have this. That's that gratefulness. So that is the first 10, or those are the first 10 shades of joy. Me, Dr. Enjoy, choosing joy, self-love, self-care, self-compassion, body joy, that mental joy, spiritual joy, gratefulness, and your thought joy. What's the 11th shade of joy? The joy of mindfulness. That just wraps everything together. When it comes to our integrity and thinking about all those things in our mind, all those invisible parts of our health, right? Spiritual, emotional, thought health, those are mostly invisible. Well, sometimes our emotions aren't invisible, but a lot of those things are internal. That mindfulness is very important to bring together. Mindfulness strategies are like the grounding techniques of being able to be present in the moment. A lot of grounding techniques involves thinking about your five senses. What can I see right now? What can I touch right now? Smell, feel, taste. Usually, when you're really focused on those kinds of mindfulness techniques, it gets your mind off of what's stressing you out. Anxiety makes you anxious of the past or the future. You're not usually thinking about the present. Sadness and depression, you are depressed about something that's going on and you're not being present and you're not able to sleep or do the work that you need to do or getting along with others. So the mindfulness and the grounding and thinking about your five senses gets you to a point where you are present and can be able to focus on what's happening now. So going on within our integrity and thinking about our emotions, our emotional intelligence, and our emotional joy, we get to the joy of trauma healing, the joy of healing in our trauma. Joy of trauma. Is that even possible? Can you heal from your trauma? Is the trauma that bad that you can't heal from? You might believe that, but that's not true. You can still heal from your trauma. A shade of joy is getting out of the shadow of your trauma, getting out of the past. I posted last week, I was at the Celebration of Achievement luncheon with Chris 180, and one of the patients or clients of Chris 180 came up and they had been sober for about 7 months and also had lots and lots of trauma. And they said, get out of the past. Stop being stuck in the past. You can get out of it and you don't have to keep re traumatizing yourself. This is someone who had kept re traumatizing themselves because they turned to drugs and alcohol for treatment, for self medication. And so a lot of times that's what we do. We turn to drugs, we turn to those things, those negative things, cutting, self harm, in order to treat ourselves and to feel better in the moment, which is actually re-traumatizing yourself and making things worse. And that's what they said. They said, you can stop re-traumatizing yourself and get better, get treatment, and love life again. That's exactly what she said. I was like, oh my God, that is amazing. Everybody's jumped up clapping. I was like getting tearful because you can heal from trauma and that can be a joy. You can experience joy. And maybe it starts with that belief, right? For sure. And with the joy in trauma healing, there's the joy in recovery. Recovery is a lot of things. You're recovering from mental illness, or you're recovering from addiction, or you're recovering from grief. There's a lot of different types of recovering, but there is joy in recovery, even in the initial stages. It's painful. Some recovery processes are even can lead to death, right? Depending on what you're trying to recover from, you can get really sick. But there's that joy in the fact that you have finally made that choice to get into that journey towards joy, which includes recovering from that thing that you're dependent on or that thing that you're addicted to. And that joy and recovery leads to, yeah, we're down to shade 16 already. I'm not numbering all of these, but we're going through these shades. Shade of joy number 16 is a joy in challenges, the joy in challenges. Not just the joy that you can overcome it, but the joy that you're having a challenge and just being happy that you are experiencing something that you can learn from and that you can grow from. A lot of times we get stuck in the fact that why am I experiencing a trauma? Why am I experiencing a challenge? Why am I experiencing stress? Why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? And then you just get stuck in that and you're not learning from that process. Think of a challenge, whether it's a small challenge of you ran out of milk and you ran out of milk and eggs and you can't make breakfast, or a large challenge that something else big happened. Your kid got suspended and expelled from school, and then because you had to go pick them up too many times, you got fired from your job. That's a huge challenge. So whether it's a small challenge to a huge challenge, find the growth in it, because it's the challenges that you face that makes you stronger. That's what makes you stronger. If life was easy, how are you going to learn from that? How are you going to be stronger? So get happy, have joy in challenges and joy in setbacks. That's number 17. That's the same similar concept. If you have a setback, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's a reason you didn't get that job because there's some other job you were supposed to get. And number 18, joy despite grief. Despite grief. It's hard. Losing someone is really hard. That's an understatement. Like I said, I lost my dad almost 3 years ago. I guess 2.5 years ago. It's hard. It's for me. I've been living not in the same city or state with from him. I know I said that really wrong. We haven't lived in the same state for years. So for me, when he passed, it's like, wait, is he still alive? Is he still in Detroit? But then I can't text him, but I can listen to his WhatsApp messages. So it's almost like he's still here. And I don't think I feel this way anymore. But initially in the grief process, I was feeling like, did he even exist ever? Did I ever have a dad? Like, it was questions like that. Like, it's just grief just hits you so weird. But there's still that joy of he's still here. And there's things that I see where he still lives within me and around me. There's different ways that people deal with their grief, but that's one way I'm able to deal with it. So there's still joy in even something like that. Grief is a setback. Grief is a challenge. And so you can still experience joy with that, because there's some moment where you can literally laugh. And there's a lot of moments where I can laugh from my dad just being so silly. And therefore, number 19, joy despite conflict. We can experience that as well. Sometimes when we're experiencing conflict in relationships, we got to take a step back and realize maybe it's you, maybe it's me, maybe it's something I need to do. Maybe I need to understand that person's side. And so the joy and grief and trauma and healing, our emotional health, our mental health, our spiritual health, our gratitude, thought health, all of that is under that integrity. So think about that's how the integrity, that's our first crucial area. And that was 19 shades. So let's go into our physical health. Physical health, physical joy, because we got to focus on everything that's up here. Right? And that affects the physical health, and our physical health in turn affects that. So it's a cycle. You got to take care of your physical health in order to help your mental health, and you got to take care of your mental health in order to help your physical health. And that goes into the joy of self-care again, the joy of sleep, of healthy eating, of exercise, all of that. I talk about exercise all the time being my medication. And I'm at a point where I'm doing something physical every day. I may not always run every day. I may not I love the boot camps for Peloton. But if I get a walk in with them babies, I turn on my Peloton app and that counts because it's a walk and it's getting some sun and getting out there and getting yourself moving. And it's very important what you put in your body. What you put in your body. I mean, too much sugar and too much fat, that brings you down. It makes you tired. We talk about the itis all the time or food coma. It's funny and it's true. And think about it. Food coma. Are we really supposed to be in a food coma when we eat and be in like a drag and needing a nap after we eat? No. The days that I've done well where I've not overeaten, made sure I drink a lot of water, didn't eat meat, mind you. Ooh, there's something up with meat. Eating more vegetables and fruits, I feel lighter and I feel better. You feel better when you eat better. So let's focus on that. Why not? And then focusing on getting enough sleep, that sleep that you need in order to be the best you. So that goes through to shade number 24. Shade number 25 is medication. The joy in taking your medications when you're supposed to take them. Now, if you're not on medication, it's not for you. This is for people who are prescribed medications and should be taking medications. I mean, honestly, if you're not on medication, multivitamins, and I believe in fish oil is really good for brain health. But if you're prescribed medication, take your medication. If you think you should not be on it or you are having side effects, talk to your doctor. The doctor don't want you to have side effects. They will help you change to another medication. At least that's how I am. Come see me. I'll help you. The goal isn't for you to be a zombie and to gain 50 pounds. That's not the goal. So if that's happening, come talk to your doctor and get off of it. So that's a part of your physical health is to be compliant and adhere to the treatment, please. Because all it's going to do is make you come into the hospital, whether it's a mental illness or a physical illness, and you're not taking your medication. Come on. A high blood pressure and diabetes is the top two reasons that African Americans or Black people are on medication. Take your medication. And if you have diabetes type 2, that's the lifestyle changes. That goes back to the healthy eating and exercising. Do those things so you can get off the medication. We have to be committed to ourselves. So that goes through that physical health. I went through that quite fast, but physical health is pretty obvious. Get your sleep, healthy eating, medication. Make sure you're making your annual visits. Even if you're not on medication, you should be seeing your doctor every year. The insurance pays for it. Get that testing in because as soon as you get to a certain age, maybe you got to start getting that colonoscopy. Maybe you have to get the mammogram. Ooh, which reminds me, I was supposed to get a mammogram a few months ago. I hit 40, so now I have to do it. All right, so I have to listen to my advice. I need to do that. So I'm here telling you I need to do that. So you have to go to your doctor because you would never know what you need to do. So follow up with that. So I've talked about the integrity, which entails your mental health and your spiritual, emotional, and thought health. And then we just finished our physical health. So now we on shade number 27, 50 shades of joy we're talking about. Shade of 27 right now. That's our financial health. Financial health. You heard that before? Think about it. If your physical health is really great and your mental health is really great, but you broke, You stressed out. You got a flood in your house and you can't pay for the house repairs. You can't pay the children's tuition. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay your mortgage. You got fired from your job. You got in a car accident, your car got totaled. You're real stressed out, and guess what? That's gonna mess you up mentally, and it's gonna mess you up physically. So financial health is in it of itself a crucial health problem that we need to worry about, because when it's not good, when you feel financially insecure or unstable, that affects your physical and your mental health. It all goes together. So with that, there's the joy of financial freedom, the joy of being debt free, and the joy of budgeting. I always talk about the B word. That's the B word to me, budgeting. But hey, I got to get to a point where I have the joy in budgeting. That's a little bit low right now as far as my motivation to do that. That's probably the part of all these 50 shades of joy where I'm the lowest at, because I don't like to budget. But we got to budget so we can pay attention to what's coming in and what's going out, so that we can make sure we're having a savings in between, because what's going out has to be less than what's going in order to increase your financial health and security. So all that goes without saying. What's shade number 30? Shade number 30 gets into our aspirational health. That is our purpose, our joy and purpose, joy and persistence, our joy in our spiritual calling. All of that's important, because maybe you got your finances together, because maybe you inherited some money, so you got the finances. Maybe your physical health is together. Maybe your mental health is together. But you don't know your calling. You're not living in your purpose. Your job, yeah, it's making money, but you don't like it. So for some reason, you still down. You still feeling a certain way. So therefore, even though I said earlier in this scenario that your mental health is better, technically it's not, because your aspirational health is low. So all this goes back. You have to self-reflect. What is it I'm supposed to do? Because everybody has a purpose. Yeah, I'm getting spiritual now. Everybody has a purpose. Why are you here? If a plant has a purpose and a rock on the ground has a purpose, why wouldn't you have a purpose? Figure it out. You have it, so figure it out. The way I stuck with my purpose was because of my spirituality, my belief in God. But if you don't have a belief in God, I'm not here to say get a belief in God. I mean, it's probably helpful, but you can still figure out your purpose. But that is how I got to it. That's how I stuck to it. The persistence and the endurance to continue beyond the failures that I had to get to where I am now. I knew I was supposed to be a doctor. I knew I was supposed to travel the world. So therefore, I persisted and continued to work towards it. And I mentioned travel. That's a joy too. Travel joy. Go and travel when you can. Do it and see the world and learn from it. It's very helpful, and it enriches your spirit and your soul to travel. Paying it forward too. Once you get to the point where you're financially secure, you can pay it forward and help others. Somebody, this is the other way around of paying it forward, but I was on the tail end of someone paying it forward. I was in Starbucks and they said, "Oh, the car in front of you paid for you." I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you." That was so nice. And then there's investment joy. Once you're financially doing well and your aspirational health is well and you know your purpose, think about investments, as that enriches already your financial health and your aspirational health. So we talked about our integrity, which is our mental health and spiritual health, emotional and thought health. We talked about physical health, and then we went to financial health and our aspirational health. The last crucial area, because we talked about 5 crucial areas of health, is relationships. So there's the joy in our relationships, joyful parenting, joyful marriage, the joy in sex, joyful friendships, joyful children, meaning you as a child being joyful, even though maybe some parents, there's some issues, joy at work relationships, and the joy in our community. That gets us to shade number 43. So all that between shade number 36 and 43, it's important for us to enrich our social health so that we feel a sense of belongingness and connectedness. How are your relationships? Assess that. Why is that important? Because your mental health can be good. Your physical health can be good. Your finances could be good. Maybe you know your purpose. But if your social health is off because of a loss, a divorce, or a toxic relationship, or something going on with a friend, or a parent, some issues, or you're stressed out as a parent, then there it goes back into making your mental health worse and your physical health worse. So thinking about all these areas of your life. How's my mental health? How's my integrity? How's my physical health? How's my financial health? How's my aspirations? Do I feel like I have a purpose? How's my social health right now? Examine all of those at 5 crucial areas of your health in order to figure out how things are going. I do that. I do that because if I'm not feeling well, I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? Oh, that's right. I got in an argument with that person. That's why I'm feeling this way today. Oh, that's right. I couldn't pay that bill. So there's something going on with my financial health right now. Oh, even though I feel I have a purpose and I feel I'm living in my purpose, that one thing happened today that made me feel off in my purpose. So let me focus on that. So think about those 5 crucial areas of your life: relationships, your social health, financial health, aspirations, your purpose, and your mental health and your physical health. That's important to be able to determine what is going on. Do the daily self reflection. And on top of all these things, with your 5 crucial areas of your life, how do you glue that together? How do you get through those? Through resilience, through the feeling of empowerment. Resilience is key to getting through all those things, especially those challenges and setbacks and traumas and grief. To getting through all of those things, resilience is key. Bounce back. That's a resilience. I think about, are you a rubber band? Resilience is being able to bounce back when you've been in trouble or trauma or obstacles or challenges. And that's how you can continue to work on yourself and continue to enrich those crucial health areas in your life. And the empowerment comes in is that you know you can do it. Because if you're not empowered and you don't know that you can do it, then how are you going to do it? Know that you can do it. You are empowered. And after getting beyond that, there's the joy in advocacy, the joy in education and awareness, the joy in breaking barriers, the joy in breaking stigma. That's 46 through 49. Being able to give back, right? So once you've taken care of yourself, how can you help others and how can you promote and advocate for the things that are important to you? And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm still constantly on my journey and constantly looking through all those 5 crucial areas of my health. However, I am here to advocate for mental health and advocate for stigma and break it down because there is too many people, too many preventable deaths. Suicide is a preventable death. Depression, eating disorders. That's the number one cause of, it's highly morbid mental disorder. All of those things can be prevented. So it's important to figure out what it is you want to fight for and advocate for and help educate. And in educating yourself, educating others on that important thing. Lastly, number 50 for episode 50, 50 Shades of Joy, is the journey to joy. Are you on your journey to joy? Think about it. Are you examining those 5 crucial areas of your life? Mental health, physical health, financial health, social health, and your aspirational health. Think of that. You must say, well, wouldn't it be easy if there was a journal for me to think about and self-reflect? Yes, I'm coming out with a journal to help you with those 5 crucial areas. Thank you for listening.